Two, three, four.
I was born by the river in a little tent, and oh, just like the river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard to live it, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause who knows what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming. I know, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. And then I go to my brother, and I say, brother, help me please. And he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Whoa, there been times that I thought, whoa, I would last too long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. Oh, yes it will. It's gonna change. It's gonna change. Oh, yes it will.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when it holds in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World.
listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Heisman Trophy winner and Florida State legend, Mr. Charlie Ward, Wave 3 TV, and Fern Creek Hall of Famer Kendrick Haskins, and Mr. Talking Noise himself, and of course Mama Noise's name, Lloyd Spence. And now, it's time for BLEAV in the ACC.
Just waking up in the morning. Gotta thank God. Today does not seem kind of odd. Today just is like a normal day, a regular old day.
Yeah.
But to most men, it just means you have like 48 hours to get your stuff together and get the right gift. So figure it out. It's Mother's Day. It's coming up quick.
Amazon's a hero.
All right. Or what Amazon likes to call cha-ching. No.
Right.
BLEAV in the ACC. You know what it is. We're back. That's Kendrick Haskins right there. That is the great Charlie Ward. And I add all those greats because you can say great Heisman Trophy winner, great high school championship basketball coach, great national championship winner, and extremely happy Knicks fan.
I mean, he's a former Knick, so
Go New York, go New York, go.
I like the early morning chat, Charlie. I like it. I'm with it. How's everybody feeling today, man? Everybody good?
I'm just waiting on June.
Okay. Kendrick, listen, you've got to accept the fact that you've got two coaches in the area and they're taking up all your time. That's what it is, okay? Not to mention, you just had the 100. By the way, you just had one of the most incredible derbies we've ever seen. That finish was outstanding.
I went back and watched the stretch run because I was on a radio show yesterday as I'm doing stuff.
Yeah.
I was on a radio show in Lexington yesterday talking about the Derby. So I went back and watched the stretch run probably about 10 times before I went on there.
I still don't get it.
That was the most physical stretch run I've ever seen. They Sierra Leone and Forever Young, you know, you're used to horses bumping into you. I mean, that just happens. But you don't see them bump the whole stretch
and stick together almost like glue. Yeah, no,
yeah, and still pass everybody. If that race was another like couple steps, one of them would have won.
Yeah,
and then pardon my French, but all hell would have broken loose because one of them would have won, and then there would have been all kind of inquiries and all that stuff would have been going on. Yeah. Thank goodness that Mystic Dan won that race because there would have been all kind of injunctions and all that stuff, and so it would have been a whole lot more to Derby 150 if one of those horses would have won. So thank goodness Mystic Dan won that race.
But even the ending itself with what you're saying was shocking to me because it didn't look like they had a chance to win because of the bumping.
They shouldn't have.
You're like, they're not going to cancel each other out. And then right at the end, it's just like they just had this burst. You're like, whoa. So yeah. that was a wild race. That was a wild race. A lot of people lost a lot of money on that one.
If Sierra Leone had have won that race, because that was who Mystic Dan beat at the last stretch by a nose hair.
Right.
Oh man.
Literally by a nose hair. Yeah.
It would have been crazy. Because there have been all kind of stewards who would have gotten involved because of all the bumping that happened on the way down the stretch. So yeah, it was
Charlie,
a wild.
Charlie, are you a big horse racing person, or do you check in on the Derby like most people in the casual way and be like, oh, the Derby's on?
Not really, but I actually watched it. Watched it on whenever it was, Saturday. I want to say I forgot where I was Saturday. It's been such a fast-paced week. I was watching it with someone, and it was very interesting to sit there and watch the race knowing that I didn't have any bets on the race.
Right.
But I think we were going for the horse that had the Knicks colors with number 17. So that's how I think it was the
Fierceness.
It
that
was
the
the
favorite
horse that was a 3-1 favorite.
Yeah. Where did he finish?
17th.
And
Irony.
And so that's how I chose the horse.
Wow. Have you been to the? I've never asked you, Charlie. Have you been to the Derby?
Course, but my horse didn't win. Of course, he didn't win. He fell off at the end. He was in the mix, but he just didn't have the kick needed.
Gotcha. Have you been to the Derby?
No. I know the
Come on.
I know the FSU alumni. They have like a trip that you can go on.
Yeah.
So I may do that one year.
Now,
you have to. You have a place to stay.
I was going to say, forget that. Here's what we're doing. Next year, we're all broadcasting live from the Derby. We're making that commitment right now.
Well,
we're going on the road next year.
Well, we might be there. One of us will be running like crazy.
We're gonna steal you away. You can steal away for an hour. No. We'll do it like a live lunch thing or something. That way you can eat and go back to work or whatever. We're gonna figure this out.
Derby week for me Lloyd, as you know, is insane.
It is.
But going back to the race itself and Fierceness, who was the favorite coming into the race, Mike Rapoli's horse. He was Todd Pletcher's. He was trained by Todd Pletcher. Mike Rapoli was the owner. He was the overwhelming favorite,
right?
But if you went back, this is my brief horse analysis because but that horse never runs 2 good races in a row. In his career, he has a phenomenal race. Then he has a race that just makes you scratch your head. Well, his last race before the Derby was the Florida Derby when he won by 13.5 lengths, and he was gearing down. He would have won by more than that if he hadn't slowed down. So that was a great win. So I knew just looking at his career.
Yeah,
he was not going to show up in the Derby, and even though I will give him credit, he was right there. But he's a front runner, so he was right there. He was right there from the get. But once they came down the stretch, he had nothing.
Right,
and so if they bring him back for the Preakness, I totally expect him to win the Preakness if they bring him back. So
he's nothing is not consistent.
Right. He's consistently inconsistent. If if they bring him back for the Preakness, which I haven't heard for sure if he's going to be in the Preakness. If they bring him back for that, I totally will put money on him to win the Preakness. But that horse has never run 2 good races in a row. I mean, it's crazy. Now, this was his worst finish, but
it's almost like he knows I'm not supposed to run 2 races in a row. That's not.
He's like,
that's not what I do.
He's like, he came down the stretch. He looked down the line. He's like, I can't do this.
Yeah. He's like, whoa. Looks like settle down. Let's calm down here.
And this is what's wild. This is what's wild, and this is why I like punching myself in the face.
Okay.
Just before the race, when they were walking out there, because Kristen she's a master at looking at the horses right before the race and then placing a bet and winning.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I guess some of it rubbed off on me because I was like, I got a feeling about Mystic Dan, but the situation I was in, which I know I'm going to get a humble flex for.
I'll have it ready. Go ahead.
I was in Jack Harlow's suite.
Oh, yes.
And I was talking to Taylor Rooks when I first walked into Jack Harlow's suite. So I got distracted.
Look, I see what just happened. I almost don't want to humble flex you for that because I'm impressed. But
and that was a humble flex.
It's totally deserved. I won't even.
Right. I'm just saying, like,
no, I deserve it.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, all right.
I deserve it. But I got distracted and didn't place the bet.
There are so many things I want to say right now to that moment, because how many men have made that's their testimony. I was gonna do it, but then
But that's crazy. That's
you have a whole world.
This was just crazy. I had already moved on from Taylor Rooks when I decided to make the bet. I just forgot.
It was that distracting to you. It was like, wow, that was Taylor Rooks.
It wasn't even that. The fact that she was there is not what distracted me.
But wasn't it though?
No, because this is the thing. She is the MC for his annual kickball tournament here every year. So I know her. So I was past that. So I came in, I walked in, I felt like a big shot. So I got there and security wouldn't let me in at first, but then Jack himself was standing right there. And he was like, no, like let Kendrick in. So I felt like so I had one of my coworkers with me, and she was like, oh wow. And then I saw Taylor Rooks. Taylor Rooks came up, gave me a big hug, and she was like, oh wow, you know her. And like I was like, big shot. Forgot everything.
Yeah.
Literally had my phone out.
You were right. You were like, I'm in. I'm like, I'm really in.
I'm really in. I'm like, I know I ain't nobody.
That part's not true. You are somebody to us.
I'm somebody that Jack just happened to watch when he was watching on TV when he was a kid.
Hey, your boy. That's your boy.
It is my boy. I ain't gonna lie.
That's your boy. There you go. So I feel like you should get a number of them flex, but I'm gonna stall you out for something later. I feel like later it's gonna come up anyway, so that matters.
My outfits are gonna come up, aren't they?
No. I'm not bringing it. I want to. I'm gonna hold you. No, I want to. It's the promo guy. I do. It's there. It's in my head, but I'm not gonna do it because Derby is a dress-up affair, so I can't actually humble flex you for something that it kind of requires you to do.
Right,
so,
I'm doing my job.
You're doing your job, so I can't humble flex you for doing your job. So there you go.
Derby was fun though. Derby was fun this year. Derby 150. It was fun.
Oh, it looked like it was a ball. This is the first Derby where I actually missed home. Like I actually missed being in Louisville this time. I was like, boy, it looked like it was a good time this time. For 150, I wish I was there. That would have been nice.
I was so as you know, I was stationed in the paddock for both Oaks and Derby, the brand new paddock. New paddock. Visually, it's awesome. For everybody else, it's awesome. When you're stationed there for work,
chaos. Complete chaos.
Well, Friday for Oaks Day, it rained all day. And it wasn't like a downpour. It was just enough to be annoying. So I'm standing there all day just getting rained on. Derby Day was insanely hot and humid. There's no shade. Thank goodness I had on that white coat because it was hot down there.
Right. Well, you survived it, my brother. Now all you got to do is help them put their team together. Louisville and Kentucky, and then you'll be free for the summer.
Well, Kentucky seems like they're on a roll. They got the kid from who had committed to South Carolina, who is from the state of Kentucky, Noah. Yeah, and so you knew he was on the when he decommitted from South Carolina. You knew he was going to come from Kentucky. Now Kentucky, for UK fans, they have the roster of their dreams. They have two Kentucky high school basketball legends. They have the number one scorer in the history of the state of Kentucky, and then now the number 5 scorer in high school basketball for the state of Kentucky. So this is the kind of roster that UK fans have been dreaming of. Now let's see if it would be successful.
Right. Something to build on. It's something to build on, and maybe it'll turn into.
They definitely have something to build on.
All right. All right, well, let's jump back in, man. Let's jump in here and see what's going on here with the show. We've been off for a while, as you all know. And so we've been trying to we missed a lot of things like the draft. We didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about the draft. And we didn't talk to each other about the draft. We've been all busy. So we'll open up with the draft. Which 4 quarterbacks went in the first round, which is crazy to think about. Who do you think will have the biggest success from this group? Is it Caleb?
I was gonna say Caleb is set up the most. He's set up the best to have the most success when you look at the.
Oh, you know what? I apologize. There was 5 quarterbacks that went in the first round. Yeah. I apologize. I want to apologize because I almost forgot. There is a 5th name that I did not put up here, and that is JJ McCarthy. Let me add him into the mix. Mr. JJ McCarthy from the Vikings, who played at the national championship Michigan Wolverines. So there you go. So now when we go through the list, sir. Jaden Daniels, Drake May, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix, which was the shock of the first round. Who do you think has the best and the brightest future?
Well,
and I agree with you, Caleb is I don't know. JJ McCarthy is set up pretty nice.
No.
Yeah, Caleb, the way they set up Caleb with all of those with the weapons on the outside, I think that the Bears have really set him up to be successful. Yeah, but I think it's with everybody with the coverage of it. It's the Bears, so he expects
you both think it's the Bears over the Vikings? Because I heard Charlie say no. He'll be back. You think over the Vikings? Because I mean, Justin Jefferson. I mean, you got. I mean,
he's got a nice setup there too. I mean, it's between those two.
I'm not saying he's ready for any of that.
Right. That's
right.
I don't know if he is. He might. Just looking at it from, I think he's kind of Kirk Cousins-ish.
Oh, for sure.
And so he'll be. I think he'll be good. Don't get me wrong. I think he'll be good, but I do think that Caleb is set up for more success just because of everything that's around them.
Are we underestimating Jaden Daniels' situation?
I don't think we're underestimating. I think Jaden Daniels was probably the best quarterback out of this group.
I agree.
But I think just starting out, I think Caleb has the best setup because they put the most weapons around him.
Jaden Daniels will hand the ball off to Austin Eckler and throw to Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson, De'Ami Brown, who we definitely know on this show and like a lot. Charlie, you with us?
Yes, I'm here. Can y'all hear me?
Okay, we got you, buddy. We got you. Few little technical difficulties, but we're working through it. That's what we do, patiently, you know.
Yeah.
I
don't have a camera on this computer, so
no problem, buddy. No problem. Do you feel like I thought I heard you say you weren't like you didn't think JJ McCarthy's situation was better than Caleb? Did I hear that right?
That is correct. I just don't think that they're at the same level right now. One is going to get a chance to play and have his moments, very similar to CJ Stroud did this year. And then the other one, I'm not sure if he's ready for like a day one starter.
Right.
But, you know, they may have an opportunity to put him in there. Hopefully they give him some time to see what's going on in NFL. JJ McCarthy, I'm speaking of.
Yeah.
So hopefully they give him some time because I think he needs some time to be able to navigate his way through. And I don't know if Minnesota's in a place where they feel like they have time.
Yeah.
They're a playoffs type team. And if they're not in that running, I don't know if they can handle that.
They're in a very interesting spot, Charlie, because they got possibly the quarterback for the future in JJ McCarthy, but they don't have the time to re-sign their best player, which is Justin Jefferson. And how is he going to feel is probably going to dictate to whether or not McCarthy gets on the field or not.
That was my point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He to me, he reminds me of what's the guy that just left Buffalo?
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. So he kind of reminds me of him in a sense that he could be a spoiler. Just by one comment. And then that comment leads to, how the media goes, that comment leads to another comment, later on. And then it's like, I'm not unhappy. And then it's like, I want to get traded. I mean, it's like that trickle down effect. And I think he has that in him. I don't know the guy personally, but just outside looking in.
Yeah.
But if things don't go according to how they feel like it should go, he could be out of there.
I agree 100% on that. Both of you, Michael Penix to the Falcons. Did that throw you off? It threw me off a little bit. I didn't necessarily understand that move. But then after time, I kind of accepted, like, okay, I guess I can kind of see.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat on that. When they initially made that pick, I was like, what are they doing? I felt like they were Atlanta-ing. But when you look at but like
Atlanta.
Yeah, Atlanta going to Atlanta. But like after looking at it, and when you look projecting forward, it is a good move because Penix has his injury history. And so you and I mean, he was beat up in that playoff game. So you give him time to heal, you give him time to learn, and you give him time to learn behind a really good quarterback in Kirk Cousins. Not great quarterback, but a really good quarterback who is very experienced and who has put up numbers in this league. And he's up there in years. And so when Cousins' contract is over with, Cujo can come in.
Exactly.
Cujo can come in and he can have like you. And you look through NFL's past, but right now with was it Caleb Love at Green Bay, and you look at other quarterbacks who have come in who have sat behind good quarterbacks before, Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and all that stuff. It's a good landing spot for Michael Penix. And so it makes sense in the long run. Just initially, when you look at how much money they're paying Kirk Cousins, you was like, what are they doing? But like when you sit back and look at it, that was a good move. And I think Penix is going to be a star in this league.
I think he can be. If he can stay healthy, I think he absolutely can be. The thing that kind of throws you off from the move, even when you look at the depth chart, you go, wow, after Bijan Robinson, there's Tyler Algiers. After Drake London, there's Kadero Hodge. After you get past Darnell Mooney, it's Ray McLeod. It's like there's really no real depth at those positions.
You got 2 years to build that depth.
You do have 2 years to build it. So maybe that's the plan. Maybe they're saying Kirk is our we can compete right now answer, but Michael is our 10-year answer. So we'll be in the mix for the, whatever. So I get it. It's just I guess if you are trying to win a very winnable NFC South now, you would have thought, okay, let's get maybe one other skill player, maybe somebody to back up Kyle Pitts, because you don't really have any depth behind that. And it's just, I don't know. It was just bizarre, but I get it.
Yeah, I mean,
can't win without a quarterback. Can't win without a quarterback in the
right.
league.
It felt like we're good now. We can win this division now because this division's sorry anyway.
Right.
But like going forward to the future, if we want to make a real run, we have our quarterback for the future run. I feel like Kirk Cousins is kind of like, yeah, we can do this now.
Yeah,
and he can take us so far, and we know he's only going to take us so far. But when he can't take us so far, we have the quarterback of the future to take us.
We got the guy that takes the rest of the way. Yeah.
Yep.
Charlie, any disagreements in any of that, or that's about where you landed as well, or what are your thoughts about Michael Penix Jr.? Is Charlie still with us?
Michael Penix, I think, as you guys mentioned, I think it was a good succession plan for where they are, and especially since Kirk Cousins is coming off Achilles injury, which we see guys come back from now quicker and differently, but still, you never know. He's never been a guy to be a running type of quarterback. So, how he tore his ACL. His Achilles from the jump, but that's just an injury that can happen to anyone.
Yeah.
And he's young. So
say again.
And he's young, so he'll quicker from that.
Well,
you talking about Penix or Kirk or Cousins?
Kirk Cousins is not young.
My bad. I was thinking about
yeah.
So we all outside looking in, but we don't know what Atlanta was, what their plan or thoughts were. And they made a decision based on what they felt was the best for their team. And, we don't know where Kirk is at this point in his rehab, for the season. And so to be able to have a guy that potentially could be a day one starter, very similar to all the other guys, I think they felt like they may need to do that. But, I'm sure a lot of people were up in arms about him going there. And, I keep hearing these things about Kirk Cousins and his camp and all that. When it's all said and done, when you're in a professional sport, these things do happen. Like they bring people in.
Yeah.
And, if you're a great teammate, regardless if you're sitting the bench or you are one of the leaders, you still have to be a professional and do your job.
Yeah.
What's best for the group. And so I think he'll be willing to do that and understand. Everybody wants to play like LeBron and Tom Brady and those guys, but that's not a norm.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy is so many people. So it feels like a lot of these owners think that everybody is Tom Brady and can play until they're almost 50.
They cannot.
Quarterback, but they cannot. Tom Brady's one of one.
Yeah. Plus, Kirk's got 80 million reasons to just settle down. Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Backup or starter, you're going to be fine, Kirk. It's going to be a good life. Trust me.
Right.
So you're fine. What about the rest of the club, as they say? Bert, who's going to be the best first-year starter from the ACC? This is an ACC show. So let's go through some of the names that popped up on the list. The most glaring, obviously, highest ACC pick, not named Drake May, was Jared Verse, of course, who went to the Rams, which I'm assuming they're saying we found our Aaron Donald. We found our new Aaron Donald, which I don't know if that's true or not. I'm a Jared Verse guy. Love the guy. I don't know if he's the heir apparent to maybe one of the greatest defensive players of all time, but he could be. I think he could be solid. I think he could definitely be solid.
He'll have a good career. I don't know about Aaron Donald type career, but
right?
He'll definitely have a good carear.
And they made his career's transition even easier by taking the homie Brandon Fisk. So Charlie, you saw these guys play all season. You think that was a good pairing and smart play by the Rams to do this?
Yes. I mean, they're familiar with one another, of course, and they created havoc as a pair. And so when you talk about Aaron Donald, you may have to put two of these guys together to make up his production in some form of fashion.
Did they play same side? I can't remember.
I don't remember if they played same side, but they were very disruptive.
Yes, very disruptive.
So I just think that was a good move by the Rams to be able to pair them, because FSU did have one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah.
At least moving throughout the year, and at the end of the year, that's what they were leaning on a lot.
Yep.
So I just think that was a great move by the Rams to do that.
They pulled the Philadelphia Eagles.
Right. Right. That's exactly what they did.
They pulled the Philadelphia Eagles. Graham Barton went to the Bucks to block for Baker Mayfield. One of the smartest linemen and most durable linemen in the draft went there. I think that's a good pick for them. You guys think he'll do well in that system?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. I don't know about Baker Mayfield's longevity there, but I think he'll be a great great addition to that offensive line, though.
Yeah. I thought Nate Wiggins going to the Ravens was about as perfect a situation as he could get himself into. Just he's ideal for them. Just absolutely ideal, because they want pressure and cover. That's their whole defensive thing. Get to the ball, cover the back. Let's make some plays back there. That's what Nate Wiggins does best. So I thought his situation was perfect.
Yes, that is a good situation for him. I mean, you go into the Ravens, which is a contender.
Yeah.
And you get an opportunity to, potentially play or find your way on the field in some form of fashion, whether it's a corner, nickel corner, whatever the case may be. You just want to be in the mix. But I think that was a great situation for both of them, him and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you get drafted to the Ravens organization, for one, it says a lot about yourself, because they don't make bad draft picks.
They don't. They don't.
And two, I mean, I think he's in a great situation, like you said. It's a great organization, and they're an organization that focuses on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, he's in a great situation there.
What about the steals of the draft from the ACC? Who do you think were like great steals? And I got a ton of names. The one that obviously jumps off the page was Keon Coleman, because I thought that's not a bad replacement for Stephon Diggs, and
but it's not.
He came out the gate with maybe the greatest press conference I think I've ever heard.
He has been great since. I had no idea he had this much personality.
I was going to ask Charlie. I said, Charlie, you never told us that the kid was that entertaining. He is a hoot. He might listen. If he stays on this trajectory, he could be the next Charles Barkley. He's hilarious.
Yes, I mean, he's from Louisiana, as you can tell with his accent. But his thought process, and that's kind of who he is. If you talk to teammates and coaches, that's kind of his personality anyway. So now he's just being in the limelight.
Yeah.
Sharing it. So he's
easy to love.
Yes. We just need him
to love.
We just need him to catch more passes, and
I think he could be the red zone threat that they are looking for if he can be taught to maximize his physical skill set, which I don't know if he's done that yet, like not completely. I'm not
sure if he's a number one receiver coming out of the gate. And
I don't think he is, but I do think he could be a nice safety net Like if everything, he could be the guy that if everything else breaks down in the play, I can go to Keon and get 5 yards. I can go to Keon in the red zone. You know what I mean? He could for sure be that.
Definitely a red zone threat. And
yeah.
And like you said, like a first down, a third and 4 threat.
Yeah.
I don't think he's not going to take the top off the defense. I don't think in the NFL.
I don't think so either. A lot of other FSU guys were taken. We talked about this with Renardo Green to the 49ers. Trey Benson to the Cardinals was really interesting to me. I thought that was a good fit for him to maybe get some significant time. I don't know about starting, but definitely getting some significant time in year one because Trey could be a nice complimentary back to whatever's going on there. Maybe take the starting position eventually. I don't know. But he's there. And then, of course, Jarian Jones to the Jags. Jordan Travis to the Jets was extremely interesting, which says a lot about Jordan's year, in my opinion. I think if Jordan had finished healthy, Jordan would have been drafted a lot higher.
Yeah. I like, as much as I'm not a Jets fan, I think that was a great pick. Because
I liken it to the Jordan Love pick in Green Bay.
Yes, it is the exact same pick if you think about it. And so he gets to sit back, he gets to rehab. Hopefully he just learns football stuff from Aaron Rodgers and not anything else.
Yeah. Stay away. Hey, Charlie, call Jordan or just send him a text. Say, stay away from the ayahuasca. Not worth it. He's already got mental clarity. He's fine.
I don't think ayahuasca.
Yeah, as Stephen A would say, stay off the weed.
Stay off the weed. Yes. But do you like that for Jordan? Jordan's such a good kid. You've known him a long time.
Football
like
wise.
Yeah, it's a good situation for him to be able to learn from one of the best quarterbacks that we've known.
Yeah,
quite some time, and just sometimes just sitting there watching him, and then you get an opportunity to pick his brain.
Yeah,
which is always great to be able to do that. And I think he'll find his place. He's that type of guy where he went to Louisville, transferred from Louisville to FSU, and struggled early on, and then became the hero in a sense. Everyone loves him. And so I think he'll continue to find his way because he has, his head on his shoulders right, and he makes good quality decisions. But you never know. Hopefully he didn't get to New York and get turned out because New York can do that. If you're not in the right state of mind, have the right friends, there's a lot of access to different things. But hopefully he chooses the access to the right things, and which I think he will.
Well, he's got you to lean on.
I was gonna say, you just have to be a super guy.
I'm trying to think. The Jets, they used to be in Long Island, but I don't think I think they have a place over in New Jersey, which I'm still trying to figure out, like, why are they New York when they play in New Jersey?
Well, neither one of them play in New York.
They both play in New
Jersey.
They both play in a random swamp that's outside of New York.
Hey. But it's a nice facility now. East Rutherford is nice.
The stadium is nice, but let's be honest.
Swamp around, we can't control all that.
For those who've never driven past that stadium, it's just a swamp.
It's the equivalent of Howard in the Hood in DC. It's the same concept. Like, what is all this around you?
It is
like,
just swampland.
It's weird.
There's nothing around that stadium.
It's fine.
You talk about buying cheap land and building a stadium. That's what they did.
The bridge is not that far away. Just drive over the bridge, get your pizza. It's fine. It's fine. Some other names that landed in some interesting spots that are near and dear to our heart. Isaac Guerrero landing with the 49ers, I thought was very interesting because it speaks to the weirdness that is kind of going on in the 49ers right now. Like, it feels like they're ready for a divorce in some aspects. Like, they're publicly saying the right thing because they're trying to save face, but it feels like maybe Debo Samuels and Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah,
Doesn't feel like they're going to be there much longer. They took a lot of skilled players in this
did take a lot
draft.
of skilled players. I don't think Brandon. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Ayuk is not there in San Francisco on opening day.
I'm wondering, was this a move to save money, kind of hitting the reset button on those guys because they just don't want to pay those guys, which I don't love, but I understand. Like, from a business perspective, I understand.
Yeah, they weren't going to be able to keep all of those weapons financially. That's impossible in today's NFL. I mean, the way they are built, that's impossible. but for Isaac Orlando, I think that is a good landing spot for him because he'll be behind Christian McCaffrey. Isaac Orlando was basically the backup running back at U of L before Jawar Jordan got hurt, and then he gets drafted ahead of Jawar Jordan. He's durable. He's fast. He brings you everything.
He's got McCaffrey type tendencies.
He's got a lot of McCaffrey in it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's going to be a perfect spot for him as far as just learning the game and learning the work ethic that it takes. Because, I mean, nobody's going to question Christian McCaffrey's work ethic. And Isaac Orlando, I feel like he's built in that same mode. And so I think that's a great landing spot for him. And it does feel like San Francisco kind of is looking ahead. And it's like, okay, this window is going to close very soon. And so, because they know they can't keep all of those guys. And so I think, I like San Francisco's moves. It looks like they're planning more for the future instead of right now.
Yeah. You love that one, Charlie, or yay or nay on that one?
Who was that? Carindo?
Isaac Carindo, yeah.
I mean, he's more of a running back than anything else. So
right.
I don't think the other skill positions that we're talking about, the wide receiver, I mean, Debo Samuel is a jack of all trades type of guy. But Carindo, I could see him being a special teams guy early on and doing some running back work as well. And then eventually, evolving into the back that we saw him be at Louisville last year.
Yeah.
More of a change of pace type of back. But Christian McCaffrey is a change of pace within himself. I mean, he's
right. He's right.
He's not just a one type of back guy.
Yeah, he got several tools.
So he has it all. So it'll be interesting to see how they use him next year.
Coming right back to you, Charlie. I think one of the bigger steals also was Devontae Walker. I think that kid's his ceiling is ridiculous. And to fall to the Ravens,
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a good.
I was shocked.
That would be a good pick for them because they had a lot of good quality wide receivers in this draft.
Yeah,
which was very good for a lot of teams. So you could get a Tez Walker with that speed and his ability to make plays, catch the football, tough contested catches.
Yeah.
To give him that weapon for Lamar Jackson, and now they have, they're building something really special there with their offense, with the run game, and then their pass game. I mean, they're going to be there in the end when it's all said and done once again. And I guess they're trying to figure that thing out because, as we all know, there are steps that you have to take in order to get to that Super Bowl and win a championship. But you got to have the right pieces. And I think they built, to be able to make that run next year and the years to come.
Perfect replacement to me for Nelson Aguilar. I mean, that's Zay Flowers, Bateman, and Tez Walker could that feels like that could be one of the best cores for the next 3 or 4 years if they can all come together. And man, talk about taking pressure off of Zay Flowers. I mean,
right, especially when you lose Odell Beckham and
yeah,
you lose Beckham and Aguilar, because losing Beckham really doesn't mean that much to the Ravens because he really wasn't. Odell Beckham, I think he's pretty much done anyway. But Aguilar was a surprise. He was surprising.
He actually played well.
Yeah, he was surprised.
He has played well with them. So
to be able to replace him with a Tez Walker, yeah, that's big time for the Ravens.
Yes. So I mean, just like I said, some other good names. Will Shipley to the Eagles was a pretty. I thought that was good.
I think that one's going to be a sneaky.
Yeah.
Because Will Shipley is somebody that you can move all around, and then you have Saquon there too.
Yeah.
I think Will Shipley is going to be very integral in their offensive schemes.
Well, with Saquon's health history, he could be very, very interesting in there because
if
he may or may not be healthy, all season. So
you would know.
I would know. I've lived through it. Were you surprised Jarvis Brownlee to the Titans? Was that a good fit?
I think so. I think I'd be fine there.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm Jarvis Brownlee, it's a good fit. I got a job.
Touche, Charlie. Touche. A job is better than no job. So there you go.
Yeah.
I think he's a good fit. I think Jarvis Brownlee is a good fit. He's taller than most defensive backs.
Is he?
Yeah, he's long, and so I think he's going to be a good addition for them.
Okay, Jeremiah Trotter to the Eagles as well. Jamari Thrash to the Browns was significant. Trying to think of some other names that people know. Jawar Jordan to Texans was very, very interesting.
He's another one. He's another one. If he can stay healthy, which he should be able to stay healthy. He's another one like Shipley. They'll be able to move him around. He's not going to be your ground and pound back, obviously, but
no.
He'll be one of those backs that you can put in there on third down. You can line him up in the slot because he can catch the ball. He's got that speed that you putting a third DB on him. He can get past him. So I think he's going to be very good with them, especially with the way they run their offense. I think he's going to add speed to that offense. I think he's going to be very good there.
They've got a very interesting roster. They really do. If he can come and just be himself consistently, he definitely has a chance to move up the depth chart in year one. And then it'll be interesting to see what happens with him after that. Any other names that jump off the page to you guys or names I'm missing? I've got a ton of names here, but those are the ones that kind of – were you happy with your team's picks, Kendrick?
Well, they did get that DB out of Wake Forest, so I do like him.
Yes.
But outside of that, it's like, I don't question
Kalen Carson.
What Dallas does in the draft, I don't question because they do draft well.
Yeah, that's true.
What they do in free agency is always a head scratcher. Like, why would you let Zeke go and then bring him back?
Right. Right.
Okay. What they do in free agency never makes sense. But what they do draft well, so I won't question what they do. Now, granted, most of the people they drafted this year I've not heard of, but it's offensive linemen, so that's they address the need. So I will never question what they do in the draft. Now, what they do free agent wise, Lord,
we'll see.
God bless.
Would you like to ask me the question as well?
How do you feel about the Giants?
I knew it was coming, so I said I might as well prepare myself. I'm going to say this, and this is what I too was on something else, and they asked me about the same question. I said, you know what? This is really simple for me. If you don't love the guy, you don't take him. And Charlie, I would love to hear your thoughts on this as well. I know J.J. McCarthy was there. I get it. And I know they tried to jump up to get Drake May. The Patriots, to their credit, were like, no, we need a quarterback too. So I get it. I understand that. But I also am very content with not taking a player that you don't love. If you don't love him, if you don't think the guy can fit, if you don't think he's a good for what you do, then don't just take somebody just to satisfy the fans or whatever. Just, and the talk is still that they're not sold on Daniel because they keep the talk that's coming out of New York right now is that Drew Lock has a legitimate chance to start. And so sometimes systems turn quote unquote duds into darlings. And so maybe Drew Lock is better than we think he is. I don't know. But the fact that they're thinking about quarterback so strongly makes me happy. So maybe finally moving in the right direction.
I want him to Daddy Dimes.
I know you do, because you're that's the hater in you. It is.
Makes my life easier.
Well,
it's nice only having to worry about the Eagles.
I do love Malik Neighbors. I absolutely
I
think that kid's special.
I don't want to deal with him for the next few years, but
right. But Charlie, you agree or disagree? I mean, I just don't think you should take somebody you don't really want.
I'm not sure who you're referring to, but my Neighbors is a good player.
No, Jake, they didn't. They were the rumors are they were trying to get Drake May. Patriots didn't want to deal at all, and so they were like, "No, we're not," because they offered quite a bit, and so did Minnesota. From what I'm hearing, they both offered Minnesota offered like 3 first-round picks for him. And I think we offered like a couple of first and some other picks or whatever. And they said no to everybody. So the only guys left were Drake May and Michael Penix, which we decided we didn't want either one of them.
Which is a head scratcher.
I mean, like I said, I think Daniel Jones' time with the Giants is,
beautiful
on a short leash.
Yeah,
but Gettleman was in love with him.
So again.
Dave Gettleman saw him and when he fell in love.
They can go be together. They can go be together in whatever remote island they'd like to travel to, whatever. It's fine.
But I just think, this year Daniel Jones would probably have a very good year. That's just my personal opinion.
I thought that too. That's what scares me, Charlie.
And that's normally the way things work when people are against you and you're either on your last leg of your contract. You normally have a productive year because you may have changed some things. You got a little bit more better focus. And so, I mean, he could have a productive year. And, then that gets people like Lord all hot and bothered because now they're gonna look to offer him a extension or potentially offer him an extension if he plays well, and then there's going to be this mixed feelings between the fan base and everybody because they gave him an extension, but they still should probably go and draft a quarterback next year, which that could be a possibility instead of, they just prolonged it a year.
Well, we have our eyes on a couple of guys for sure.
I mean, if I'm being completely honest, I do like what the Giants are doing offensively.
Yeah,
I think they are gonna. I think they're gonna make a big step this year. I think Daniel Jones is the kind of quarterback that can get them to the playoffs at least.
Well, he's proven that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's proven that.
And they put weapons around him. I don't think he's like a great quarterback, but I think he's a good enough quarterback to get you to where you need to go if you got the right weapons around him. And I think they've done a good job of putting weapons around him to where they can be successful. Now, I do think he's going to be the type of quarterback that he can get you so far. and it's going to be like, well, he got us there when his contract comes up. And I can see him putting you in the same predicament as Dak Prescott is with the Cowboys, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's good enough to get you so far, but can he really get you over that hump? And is he going to be worth the money it's going to take? And
he's not worth the money.
I can see
I can answer that right now.
But
we need to move on.
But at least you're not paying him and not over a barrel like Dallas is with.
That is also true. All right, let's pivot real quick. The NBA playoffs, guys, have been
fantastic,
great. I mean, nothing short of great right now. We mentioned it earlier. Charlie's New York Knicks are, I don't know how they're doing this, other than to say Jalen Brunson is him. He is putting on a show for the ages right now.
Can we ask Charlie, is this sustainable with them only playing like 7 players?
Not at all. But go ahead, Charlie.
Yeah, that's a concern for sure. When you're playing guys heavy minutes, I mean, you start to have these little injuries like they're starting to get.
Yeah.
Ananobi's last night was definitely a fatigue injury.
Yes, a hamstring type deal. Tweets here. But
those are Thibodeau teams, though. That's what usually happens with Thibodeau teams.
Right.
Because he drives them so hard on both sides of the court. And it's like, after a while, the body goes, I've done all I can do.
Yeah. So, I mean,
playing out of his mind.
Yeah.
It's, I don't know if it's sustainable, but, I mean, they're 2-0. And, I mean, guys are falling down, but I just still think, you should play some more guys. Just a few minutes here and there. I mean, what's his name is out now indefinitely. I mean, he's out.
Anunoby, yeah.
No, not Anunoby, but
somebody else is out.
Yeah, the center Mitchell.
Oh, yeah,
he's out.
He's out.
That's right. He is out.
Mitchell is out.
And Precious is giving them good minutes. Hopefully, they realize that Precious can give them good minutes.
There's no choice now.
Well, right. He's gonna have to give them good minutes now.
So that's what I mean. There's
Tibbs. You never know.
No, he's gonna have to play because there's no. I mean, and no Obi's not there.
Yeah.
And Mitchell is not there, so they're going to have to play Princess now. And I'm still trying to figure out like why Sims doesn't play, a few minutes. I mean, he's a young,
strong, athletic,
throw lobs, defensively. I mean, he can protect the rim. So I mean, he doesn't have to play heavy minutes, but he can get in there for a few minutes to give him something.
Yeah.
Right. And Deuce McBride would definitely, probably need to play a little bit more. I don't know what his minutes look like for this series, but I think even if he's not shooting the ball well, he does other things that could help keep him on the floor. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages those minutes, because I understand, everybody's trying to win. But when you start playing in series, you got to think long term as well. But they were able to, get the job done in Philly with the same, rotations in a lot of ways. And so, but the guys, the only crazy part about it is, in the fourth quarter, that's when they have their best quarters when it comes to their effort and everything. So it's been interesting to see if it's sustainable.
Well, what's amazing to me with what this Knicks team is doing, for what they lack in size and depth, they more than make up in basketball IQ. These are some of the smartest guys.
It's a lovable Knicks team.
Huh?
It's the rare lovable Knicks team.
Man, listen, DiVincenzo and Josh Hart and Brunson, how can you not love those guys? Like, and what they're doing on the court, they play some of the smartest basketball I think I've seen in a long time from a Knicks team. Just they rarely make bad plays. I know sometimes Jalen Brunson dribbling the ball drives you crazy because you're like, Jalen, get the ball out of your hands. Give yourself a break, bro. Come on.
Mm.
But does he?
Chingo has been so good in this series.
He's been phenomenal. Oh my God, he's been so phenomenal. I'm sure he's got Golden State going. Why the heck did we give up on him? Like we should have kept this kid. Like he's so good.
Because he was good for Golden State last year.
Yeah, he was really good, and they needed him this year. I mean,
I want to ask Charlie though. I want to ask Charlie though.
Yeah.
When the Garden is going like it was, like it has been in this playoffs, I mean, it's amazing to watch on television. What is it like when you're out there on the floor where the Garden is like that,
rocking like that?
Yeah, it does give you a boost of energy. So that's why it's different when you start thinking about the effort in the fourth quarters and guys playing a lot of minutes. I mean, that's any home crowd for the most part. When they're excited, you can get that extra boost.
It just feels different when it's New York, though.
It is different in the sense that it's New York, but any crowd. I mean, any crowd. I mean, even that. Let's say here, Florida State, or any school that has a fan base that is that provides great energy.
I was going to say, Charlie, you've been blessed to play in front of two of the greatest home court advantage or home field advantages in the history of sports. So,
I mean, I played at other stadiums and arenas as well, and they have the same energy. Is what
I was just going to ask you. What is it like?
Like Florida?
Yeah.
The Swamp.
Yeah.
Clemson, as well. And so there are a lot of places that are very similar, and they provide that type of energy, to the team.
Wow.
And, your goal as an opponent is to quiet that team, that stadium. But when you're at home, you want to galvanize them by making plays and giving them hope, just like the Knicks have been doing. They were down double digits at half. Then they kept fighting back. And they were able to, take a 8-point lead going into the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just, that's what gives them hope, so that turnaround was big. And going into the fourth quarter, which was huge for them down the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see if they can handle not having that extra energy, legs feeling a little wobbly, tired, and are they able to overcome that? I don't know if Jalen Brunson is healthy. I'm sure he will play, but I'll be asking, if he's not 100, not going to be 100, but if he's not close to where he can play without medicine, then I would sit him and get rehabbing and get him prepared for game 4. Because those extra days, because that'd be 2 extra days that you can get him to a point where he's close to, being like he's been these last few games. But of course, that means you feel like you're giving up on a game or giving a game when you feel like you may be able to go up 3-0. I just don't know if they'll be, because Indiana plays differently at home, like most teams. And so game 3 to me, I don't think will be a turnaround game either way, because they're going to play differently at home. And they've had opportunities to win in New York. They just haven't been able to capitalize late. So it'd be interesting to see how they try to work that piece with their health conditions with the team.
I'll just say this. I wouldn't take any unnecessary risk with Jalen Brunson in Game 3. If Game 3 started to get away from us a little bit, we're down 10 going into the third or into the fourth or whatever, or down 15 or whatever it is.
Especially with OG being out.
Yeah, I'm sitting him. I'm like they got us on this one because there's no reason. The only way I think I'd play him is if it was close going into the fourth quarter, and there's a window for us to go up 3-0, like halfway through the fourth. Then I'd finish it out. But if not,
yeah, if you're down, I think if you're down double figures, you just go ahead and rest your guys. Yeah. Charlie, I want to ask you, as a competitor, especially at the highest level like you were, do you like winning at home when you got all the crowd and you got the adulation behind you, or did you like quieting the crowd when you were on the road? Because I feel like, as a person like me, I think I would like being on the road and shutting the crowd up more. But as a competitor, for you personally, did you like winning and having all the crowd behind you and having all the adulation, or shutting a crowd up when you were on the road?
Well, I like both. I mean, if we had a choice, I like both because they both kind of give you satisfaction in some form or fashion, because that means you're doing well, especially at home. You know, the crowd's going to give you that energy you need to overcome or push you a little bit further. And then on the road, I just enjoyed making the big play, whether it's defensively or offensively, making a shot to silence the crowd. I mean, everyone likes that feeling, to be able to, I didn't do no shushing to the crowd, none of that kind of stuff. But, it's
Hollywood, if I was that good.
But, it's just that everyone wants that moment. Like you sit in your basement or your house and you always dream of that moment, and you've seen it, you watched it, others do it. And then when you have an opportunity to do it, it's something that we all would want to do.
Yeah. I'll ask the final question this way. Other than the Knicks, obviously, that's a series that we're all enamored with because we have personal ties to it. But any other series got your attention that you're watching going, that could be something interesting? Thunder Mavs, Celtics Cavs.
Both Western Conference series.
Yeah.
Well,
Listen, that Timberwolves Nuggets thing is, I'm not going to say shocking, but shocking. Because I didn't know that the Timberwolves defense was that good. Like, I obviously have not seen a lot of Timberwolves games this season, other than when they play the Lakers.
Feels like they turned it up
twice.
Yeah, it feels like they turned it up in this series.
But they are the number one defensive team.
Yeah. But
I wasn't even aware of that.
Yeah, but it felt like they took it to a whole other level, especially in Game 2.
That's the playoffs.
Right.
Playoffs, the intensity goes up another level.
But for a team to be that young, Charlie, are you surprised that they've turned it up to, like, listen, that was one of the most impressive single game playoff games of defense I think maybe I've ever seen. Like, you don't see teams lock a team up like that. That was impressive.
But they did it in the first series. They did the same thing.
But,
it was against the Suns too.
I mean, the Suns, they didn't have any help. They don't have a bench. They don't have anything.
What? They got KD. They got
old KD.
I just say I feel like, though, and I think it's probably because it may be because I watched more of Game 2 than I've watched most of their games. Game 2 of against
the Nuggets.
The Nuggets.
Yeah.
But the intensity that they bring on defense, it's amazing. I mean, Jamal Murray, he's a good dude. a nice guy. When you get that dude to the point where he's just throwing stuff on the court,
he had a temporary breakdown in that game. He's like, "What is going on?"
They are attacking you mentally and physically.
Listen, nothing was more glowing than that trap on the left side of the court. I think it was the second, third quarter, and they trapped him and didn't foul it. They just stood there like, "You're not going anywhere. You're done dribbling." And he didn't know what to do. And I was like, man, this is going to be a long night. If this is the standard by which you're playing defense tonight, it'll be a long night for the Nuggets. And it was. Now, the question is, can they duplicate that at home, which you would think they can? So I don't know. Listen, we're all thinking, but we don't all want to say, well, surely the Nuggets aren't going to get swept, are they? But, boy, it doesn't feel like the Minnesota's going to have a lot of answers going from game 2 to game 3.
Yeah, no, I don't know if they get swept. I think the Nuggets will find a way to make some adjustments.
Right, they should.
But Minnesota, if they don't get complacent, which I don't think they haven't thus far, because of Anthony Edwards. He's kind of carried them in a lot of ways, and his energy and belief and drive and passion, whatever, all the words you want to give him. He has all those things that you want in a superstar. Like, you don't hear all the dude talking about he wants to play, every night.
Yeah.
And they cater to him, which they understand that if we give him the ball, he's going to make good decisions. That's the thing. A lot of times when you have star players, you don't know sometimes you may not know what decisions they're going to make, because they may, like the other day, he started out poorly from an offensive standpoint, but that didn't stop the other guys from playing offense and giving them the ball, because they kept shooting open shots, because he had the ball.
Yeah.
And so that is, to me, they have guys that are playing, that are starring in their role, like Alexander Walker, I think his name.
Yeah.
I mean, he just understands his role. Like, he's a defensive guy, and it all starts with him. Like, he's pressuring the basketball. Whoever brings the ball up, he's pressuring the basketball, and the defense just feeds off that energy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're well connected. They don't allow a lot of open shots, because they're playing with great energy as far as the effort is concerned, and they're covering for one another. And when you have a team like that playing defense like that, it makes it really, really tough. And they're long and athletic. To me, it's going to be a tough out because of just their mentality and the way they play consistently. Because those things don't have nights off, like defensive energy, connectivity, communication, and you see it with them. And the more they keep frustrating, they see the frustration, the more they're just going to keep pounding you.
One of the things I love about you, Charlie, is that you are not prone to hyperbole. So I know that you have, without having talking to you, I know that you have not bitten into he's similar to Jordan hype machine. However, do you see characteristics or similarities to some of the greats in Anthony Edwards?
I think what people, when they start comparing them to Jordan and Kobe, which I've heard those two.
Yeah.
I think they're talking more about his mentality than, I mean, he has athletic ability, skills, very similar to those guys. In the way he's approached the game. He's playing the game now. I mean, when he was early on, he's very similar to Jordan and Kobe. They develop their games over the course of their years.
Yeah.
But when they first came in, they were very similar to Anthony Edwards, where people were laying off of him. You know, he's developed into a good overall player from the 3-point line, mid-range, and he can finish at the basket along with making plays for others. And so I think that's what people see, his athletic ability, his willingness to dunk on a dude.
Yeah.
Very willing.
Very willing. Very willing.
Yeah. And so I think that's what feed a lot of that comparison is the things that he does very similar, but I think they're more so the mindset. Like,
yeah,
he's out there talking to KD, talking to people. I don't know what he's talking about, but you know, he's laughing and he's enjoying life. And I don't think it's malicious. It's just he thinks he's at the park.
Yeah, I love Ant. I love this dude. I love his energy. I love how country he is. he's just a dude. He seems like the dude is just he's gonna show up at the party. He doesn't want all the attention, but he's gonna get it.
You're gonna get it anyway, yeah.
and I think what impresses me the most about Ant is not all it's his defense. Charlie, you was talking about how much they bring it on defense. I think a lot of that comes from him because he is the best player. He is their star, and he is a dog on defense. And to me, that's where the Jordan and Kobe comparisons come in more than anything else, because he is a dog on defense.
He loves to block, steal, and stop you from scoring as much as he loves to dunk on you. But I think the thing that impresses me most about him now, from year one to year two, is his ability to understand pace of the game. Like, he understands when he needs much better. And as you would hope that a 22-year-old developing superstar would understand when to attack, when to kind of lay back, when to get, take your moments of rest, all those different things that play off as you develop in your career. He's starting to figure that out at 22, which is kind of scary, because if he's getting that, figured it out at 22, what is this guy going to be like at 25? Like, he'll be Jordan or Kobe. He'll be that.
22 years old.
22. And he looks like a 5-year veteran, like a 5, 6, 7-year veteran. It's quite impressive.
And I'm so excited about the young guys taking over the league.
Yeah.
It's like, with Ant-Man, and don't forget that 12 is coming back next year, John Morant.
And also that other dog over in Oklahoma City, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Shai is coming. I mean, Luka's there. I mean,
do you guys agree? Just real quick, you guys agree with Shaq? Shai got disrespected tremendously in the vote. Like, I'm not saying Nikola shouldn't have gotten it, because probably by the numbers. And I mean, I get it. I get why you give it to Nikola. I personally would have voted for Shai, because I just think what he's done and what they've done came kind of out of nowhere. And so I think that should be rewarded. But
I agree with Shaq, but I also know how the NBA works.
Yeah, of course. And he does.
Charlie can speak on this better than us too, but like, the NBA kind of works like that. And so I agree with Shaq.
Sometimes they get MVP fatigue. This time they didn't.
Right. Well, because they got MVP fatigue last year.
Yeah, exactly.
The way the voting for the MVP is always weird with the NBA. I'm not surprised, but like, Shai's time is coming.
Charlie, you agree? Disagree? Think?
Yeah. I mean, it's always tough every year for MVP.
Yeah,
because you have different candidates. And some are almost always the same because they've had great years or what have you. But I would have voted for Shai, just because he's had a great year. And the thing that a lot of people, Kendrick just made this statement that he'll have his time. What if he doesn't? Like,
right? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Because there's so many. It's so many, right? You're right.
Yeah. So what if he doesn't have he's steady. but he didn't have this type of year again. I'm not saying that potentially wouldn't happen, but what if he doesn't? Like, but this is his opportunity when he had a great year, and he don't get that many votes. I thought the voting should at least be closer.
Right.
And Denver, to me, was okay this entire year. They're like the number 2 seed.
They're 2, yeah.
But they didn't have a really good year when it was all said and done. I mean, they had a decent year, but they didn't have a really good year, a great year in a sense.
Right.
And I just think there should be some. I mean, he's the best player on the best team in the West.
Yeah.
I just thought they should have been closer.
I agree 100%.
I totally agree.
If anything,
yeah.
By the way, shout out to the voters for making Anthony Edwards 7th. I'm sure that's going to work well for the Nuggets.
Especially going back to Minnesota.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine? That plays Friday.
Man, he gonna be out there talking so much in the Georgia dialect that only us down south and Charlie understand.
He may hang 50 on them. Real talk. He may hang 50
coming.
On them.
A 50
my
burger
God.
is coming.
As soon as they made that announcement, I was like, oh, my God, the Nuggets are in serious trouble now. 7? Like, he didn't even crack the top 5?
You know, I think Murray's going to come out and drop 30 too, though.
He better.
I think he's going to come out and drop 30.
I think he's going to try. I don't know if he should, but he's going to try.
Well, I mean, we're sitting here talking like he's not trying at this
Murray.
point. Yeah, Murray.
Yeah.
I mean, that defense is relentless.
Oh,
yeah.
And they're making him work and play faster than he really wants to play. I'm sure he can make shots very similar to Halliburton last night, you know, because he deemed after game 1 that he was going to play well. You know, he was going to play much better. And he ended up with 30, I think, last night. And, you know, they still lost in a sense. So I just think, you know, you still have to just play your game, like, and not try to come out and showcase or be Superman and lose focus of kind of the team aspect of it. But Minnesota right now, their defense is elite, and they're forcing him to play fast and he want to play, and they just got dudes that, hey, I don't care, y'all won the championship last year. Okay, cool. Yeah. More fuel for the fire for this heat that I'm putting on you.
Mm-hmm. I just think Murray's going to come out and drop 30 just because he's played so poorly, and plus he's going to have 5 days rest, and he's injured. That's I think that's why
what kind of 30 is it? Is it a efficient 30 or is
I think it'll be efficient. I think it'll be an efficient 30. He's injured. I mean, that's not a new side of that. He's not healthy.
Right.
So giving him that 5-day rest on top of having such a bad game, looking so bad, he didn't do himself any favors in the press conferences yesterday.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was very terrible.
Terrible.
So I do think that he's going to come out. I think he's going to put on a show. Now, will it be enough against that defense? I don't know in that crowd, but they do have that championship pedigree at this point.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't be surprised if Denver stole game 3. But I think Murray's gonna have a huge bounce back game in that game tomorrow.
I know we got to go, but not to get in the weeds, but I am curious, just out of pure curiosity. I personally, from an adjustment perspective, Charlie, I think I would move, and I know this is totally against what they do, but you got to counterbalance that they're too big somehow. I think I would move just for this series. I'd mix up more Jokic on the block because I feel like it'd be easier for him to pass out of that than what they're doing now. Because they're not even letting him get to his elbow spots. They're like, nah, bruh, we're not doing that. And we're certainly not going to let you dribble the ball up the court by yourself. So I just feel like you gotta go back to his super strength, which is probably off the block, and then maybe try to put one of those dudes in foul trouble that way, and then try to push, get the double team off of you some way, and then maybe that opens it up for everybody else. But I don't know if I'd stick with that same strategy of getting them to the elbows and letting them see the floor off that, because they're adjusting to that easily.
They're gonna mix up their coverages against him, regardless of where he is.
Mm-hmm.
They're just gonna have to. I mean, when it's all said and done, they have to make shots. Like they haven't found someone consistently. Caldwell Pope hadn't made shots. Porter is, he's made some shots, and they're kind of sticking with him on his jump shot. So they're going to need some other guys to step up and make some shots from the outside. Holiday, you made a few the other night, but not enough. So that's going to be the big telltale sign on if they can handle, because regardless of where he is, they're mixing their coverages. So they're not giving him, one thing to think about.
Yeah.
They're single covering on occasion. They're doubling him on occasion. They're being physical with him. And I mean, he's had more turnovers to go along with all the other things that he's doing as well. And so that's something, if he can't correct that, they're going to struggle. I mean, he averaged, I don't know, he's maybe averaging like 5 or 6 turnovers this series in the 2 games. So I just think if they can play clean, they'll find a way to make it happen. But when it's all said and done, I think Minnesota defensively and then offensively, they have what it takes unless somebody gets hurt.
Can't agree more. I'm fascinated by this series. I cannot wait till Friday. And since this is Mother's Day weekend, I'm gonna at least get Friday in because I know Sunday I'll be busy. So,
hey, look, Mother's Day, it'll end around 6. And when the games start.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna try to sneak out, but it gets a little rough.
You can sneak away.
Well, that's why I have children, and they'll take care of their mother, that kind of thing.
They can placate. They can placate the rest of it. You can kind of sneak away.
Gentlemen, who we shouting out? Can I give a collective shout out that I think you both will appreciate? I want to see. We didn't get a chance to do this because we were away, but shout out to the incomparable, great Candace Parker for retirement. That is, listen, with all due respect to Caitlin Clark, and I'm sure Courtney Reeves from Minnesota would agree with me because she's clearly in her feelings about Caitlin Clark. I don't know if you guys heard the stuff that's going on with her, but Candace Parker to me is one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Like she is, her resume is unbelievable.
Her resume and skill set, yeah.
Oh, surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. Just amazing. Just amazing. And the game is going to miss her tremendously. She is maybe one of the greatest ambassadors the WNBA has ever had. And it's going to be weird not seeing her out there this year, even in a limited capacity. So shout out to Candace Parker for just a career for the ages. If Caitlin Clark can mirror that, I mean, man. So
yeah. Shout out to Candace Parker. Watching her last night on TNT with the fellas, with Ernie and Shaq and Kenny and Charles. It was fun to watch. It was fun to see her get emotional and then see them go back to being inside the NBA and being crazy. But yeah, she's a phenomenal ambassador to the game. She means so much to the game, no matter men's, women's, whatever. Candace Parker means everything to the game of basketball. She's contributed so much. Yeah, so shout out to her.
There's only a few people you can even put in the conversation with, right? Like,
right.
Cynthia Cooper, yeah, okay. Brianna Stewart, just because of the 4 titles at UConn. But pro-wise, Stewie's got some ways to go to catch her.
Only person close to her professionally right now is Asia.
Yeah. You agree with that, Charlie?
Yes. I mean, that kind of is a good comparable.
Maya would have been that, but Maya decided to fall in love first. And so
who was that?
Maya
Moore. Yeah, she decided to take on other things. If she'd have stayed with basketball, yeah.
Yeah, if she'd have stayed, I think she'd have been in that conversation. She's amazing, man. Candace Parker, shout out to her. All right. Who else are we shouting out, gentlemen? Who else are we shouting out today?
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go ahead and shout out all the moms because it's Mother's Day weekend. So shout out to all the moms. Shout out to you two's beautiful wives and your children and your mothers. And shout out to my mother. And shout out to I'm probably gonna get humble flex, but shout out to him and her boutique who take care of me every Oaks and Derby. They took care of my outfits this year, and I give them as much advertisement as I can because they give me a great discount. And so shout out to him, and they make me look good. They've got a rough canvas to work with. So
you look fantastic. And yes, you are going to get.
And that was a humble flex.
Stylist, bro. You got a stylist now? Is that what's going on? Okay.
No, I don't have a stylist. It's just whoever's working. I've been going there for so many years. Whoever's working, they just take care of me.
They took care.
My girl Heidi took care of me this year. So shout out to Heidi.
All right, Mr. Ward.
As Kendrick mentioned, to all the moms, my wife, who's been a mom for 24 years. And my mom, my mother-in-law, and all of my siblings who have sisters who have kids. And also shout out to the New York Knicks and their 2-0 lead thus far. And also hopefully we have a good shout out today for our Lady Seminoles who they're playing, I think, Notre Dame in ACC softball tournament.
I was gonna say we should be close to the trip to Omaha now, aren't we? We should be close, right?
Baseball is Omaha, but
women go where? I forget. I always forget.
They go to Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. That's right. I should know that because Oklahoma dominates every year. Okay. For me, again, I will bring the trifecta in, shouting out all the mothers. Shout out to my lovely wife, to your lovely wife, Charlie. Also to my beautiful grandmother, who will have her, I guess, 60th. I guess this would have been, if I had my mom lived, this would have been her 70th Mother's Day. So shout out to her as well. I want to give a shout out also to the Pacers, who decided enough is enough. We're going to send these foul complaints in with the 78 calls that you guys have missed over the first 2 games. Good luck with that. It's probably not going to work, but good luck with it. I mean, you're trying it. I ain't mad at you. Do what you got to do to stay relevant. And who else are we shouting out? Shout out for Kendrick Lamar and Drake for giving me something to do this weekend. Even though it's extremely toxic,
Is that the feud or something?
That's
that
the
they had?
feud. Yeah, that was the feud. Listen, one of the most toxic battles I've ever seen. Lobbing some serious. Listen, I'm not a fan of lobbing allegations at people where crimes are involved, because that's a little weird to me, especially the type of crimes that they're alluding that the others have, each other have committed. That's a little bizarre. And then also doing it over a really good beat is also weird. So that was a little strange to me, but you gave me something to do this weekend, so I guess that's something. So
hey, look, shout out to K Dot. Because he gave us the song of the summer.
Oh, listen, that song is already in. I think it's played at a couple of NBA playoff games. Like it's gonna be the song.
Well, TNT is clearly sided with K Dot because they played both Euphoria and Not Like Us.
but okay, but isn't it weird to have a song be the anthem that speaks of a guy being a pedophile? That's kind of weird to me. Like I'm trying to wrap my mind around I get the beat. I get it. It's a great beat. But you're calling this man a pedophile. That's a little strange to me. But whatever.
We live in different times.
We live in different times. That's all I can say. We live in different times.
There's some alternative music that's opposite of what all of that you can listen to.
Well, you do have to cleanse your palate after a battle like that. You have to go, hey, let me go listen to some other stuff. This is a lot.
The A minor bar.
Oh,
that was the bar that ended the beef.
Oh,
that ended it. It was over after he said that.
Oh, that was so bad. That was bad. When a guy comes back with an entire song to defend that he's not that, that's when you know you won. Like, okay, it's over.
Yeah, it's over. And like, shout out to the Drake fans who keep holding on. Get you somebody who loves you as much as Drake fans love Drake.
You are actually the real MVP. To hold on to hope is both a good and negative thing sometimes.
Because it should have been over when he said, "We don't want to hear you say the N-word no more." Because I felt like that was a kill shot to begin with, and then Drake came back. I'll give Drake credit. Drake came back. He has sustained it.
He's tried it. I give him credit for that.
But Not Like Us was. I mean, that song was a kill shot. That's rough.
All right, listen. We are all caught up. We've been gone for a while, so there was a little extra, some bonus footage, bonus content for you. Appreciate each and every one of you. We'll be back next week with more, and we'll probably talk some more NBA stuff because
I'll be at Valhalla.
Really good. It's been really good, like really, really good. So,
hey, shout out to Tiger Woods. He's already in town.
That's right. It's today, right? No, it's next week.
Next week.
It's next week. Valhalla's next week. So it should be interesting. So, all right, people, God bless you. We'll see you.
Thanks for coming out. God bless you. Good night.
Yeah, we'll see you at the conference. You've been listening to Believe in the ACC with Charlie Ward, Lloyd Spence, and Kendrick Haskins. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share from the Noisemakers page on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and wherever podcasts can be heard. And join us next time on Believe in the ACC.
All right, guys.
All right, we'll check you out.
Okay.
All right, Coach Junior.
All right, bro.
See ya.
All right. Man, listen.
Yeah, hey, man.
When he said, I agree with you. When he said it's probably a minor, I was like, oh man, you just
that ended it.
Just call this man and his entire team. But did you see the pictures of the sex offender? It's floating around the internet where there's a sex offender, it's like a house full of sex offenders or so.
Dude, nobody is ever gonna mess with Kendrick anymore.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Because he's a crazy person. And I mean, that's the whole thing. From the start to the end cracks me up because like when he took so long to respond to Drake's song, and these people are like, "He's taking forever." I'm like, Kendrick's been calling Drake out for a decade. I mean,
I guess this time.
I mean, literally on King
like,
Kunta, he was talking about Drake on the first.
Yeah, he don't like him. He really don't like him. Like
his freestyle on the BET Awards was in 2014, and he's totally calling Drake out then.
Yeah, I thought Euphoria was like, okay, he's saying about as much as you can say. I hate the way the women you dress. I hate all that. I mean, I hate you. And I was like, okay, that's enough. But man, that man called him a pedophile. Like, bro, I gotta see you. Like, forget the battle. That's something else.
Yeah,
I have to see you now because
after Meet the Grams, I don't know. We got to fight.
I got to see you. I got to pull up wherever you are. You better hope Compton really loves you because I got to see you. We got to have a real conversation.
Drake ain't gonna go to Compton and have that conversation.
Well, wherever I catch you at, that's where we have it.
You better have that conversation outside of the state of California.
I was gonna say we wherever I catch you at, we got to have a conversation. Because come on, man, like it's hard to come back from pedophile. Like that's, and then the problem is Drake moves in a way that is eerily pedophilish.
And then Drake told on himself with the whole Bobby Brown, the
Millie Bobby Brown,
Bobby Brown. She's from on what's that show on Netflix?
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Yeah, he told on himself because Kendrick didn't even bring her up. Drake brought it up,
and she did too. Oh, he texts me all the time. He texts you all the time. He tells me he misses me. What? Like, aren't you 15? Like, what are we talking about right now? Like, he moved real suspect, and he always has when it comes to
because I accept that I'm a little bit biased going into it because I am more of a Kendrick fan than a Drake fan anyway.
I'm a Kendrick dude, yeah.
I'm a Kendrick dude, and I've never been much of a Drake fan anyway from day
one.
Right, I was telling my boys, I was like, I don't know what it, because like Drake to me is like kind of like LeBron is for me. I know he's good, I know he's great, but it's something about both of them. It just like irks me, and I don't know what it is.
Well, I can tell you exactly what it is for Drake. For me, I just don't believe he's that dude in school that always comes around and tries to act cool with everybody, but
he's a tryhard.
Right,
he ain't
that.
And LeBron's the same way. They both try hards. They try like LeBron with all his pictures of him reading books, and it's on the first page.
Yeah,
nigga, you ain't reading that book.
Right. Drake makes me feel like he'll dap me up in front of everybody and then talk about me as I'm walking home.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's that dude to me. I just don't like him. I don't trust him. I just, I'm just never. He has about 4 or 5 songs that I go, okay, I like that. I have to be honest, I like that.
He's got some bangers. And I'm like, the songs with Jay, the song with K-Dot. I mean, on his first album.
Yeah, but we got a few things that you just can't ignore.
Yeah,
but as a whole, oh wow, we are still live. Okay, let's do that.